World Rallycross, we haven't heard from it in forever, and that's partially because the media hasn't really been covering it anymore. Ever since the fire that took out the two Lancia Deltas of Special One Racing, we haven't seen the RX-1E cars out on track, and it's been RX-2Es that have been running around, a bit like what you see running around on the video that is playing right now in terms of the footage from Dirt Rally 2.0. So whilst the racing over at Kalani in South Africa was incredibly close and it was a lot of fun to watch as it wasn't Metit, it's not them running the RX-1E machines. And that has created issues in terms of World Rallycross, a sport which you could say was struggling. I mean, Dirtfish are running the Dirtfish livery on this car, and they were covering it, but they haven't covered it since the RX-1E category was not running. And yeah, it raises questions on what's going on with the series. Look, the thing about Rallycross is it's a bit more of an extremity when comparing, say, the WRC to Formula 1. In the WRC, you have some people who are able to make the budgets, but overall, it would be much more cost-effective if you had Rally 2 as a formula. RX-1E has been the same kind of thing. But at the same time, whilst the costs aren't necessarily as much of an issue as with the Rally 1 hybrid cars, it's the incoming, so it's relative to income, that is the issue. So it's the incomes versus the expenditures. Now, should we have like a uniform series like RX-2E, but like what you see with the rival Nitro RX series, maybe. But you want to have manufacturer support. And despite the fact that manufacturers said, yes, we do want an electric World Rallycross series, we haven't seen that support coming in. And there are people who complain about the sound, but at the end of the day, that's not the reason they're not watching the content. The big issue they had was that WorldRX, just before WRC promoter took over, was still free to watch, and then it went behind a paywall. So the kind of free viewership that you could find isn't there anymore. That was a big issue. But will that be fixed by removing the paywall? Not necessarily. I think that they've made a right decision in one case by bringing back fan favorite tracks, moving away from the constant expansion model. I think that the problem that these series have is they don't think about sustaining where they're at. They always think about how can we expand and grow, and that's, you know, an argument to do with capitalism, late-stage capitalism, and all that kind of stuff. But they were too busy focusing on growing and, you know, moving to Grand Prix venues, having races at, say, Silverstone or at Spa, where you had to purpose build the tracks, that they weren't looking at what would we lose from doing that, what would we lose from making it more expensive. Because if you ask me, what are my favourite RX tracks? I like Estering instead of the Nürburgring. I like Lydden Hill instead of Silverstone. I like Metit instead of Spa. I like Loyac. Yeah, it's one of those ones where I think they grew too far too fast, thought the money was going to keep coming in, and it just didn't. And I wouldn't blame it on the electric change, but there need to be changes, not necessarily back to combustion engine, but to make it more affordable, even if it means taking down some of the power, so that we could get more and more entries in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I think these are the solutions that would be the best for solving WorldRX, because at the end of the day, the competition is still great. Even if it's like a spec chassis with manufacturer bodywork slapped on top at a cut price, that'd be a good way of running it. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you around. Bye for now.